Travis Wayne Goodsell. Tuesday, the second season of Superman and Lois came out on DVD, and it's an interesting take because it has Superman and Lois as married, and they have 2 sons. And I remember when Superman Returns was released in the theaters, and people saw it, and people didn't like it. They didn't like the idea of Superman having a kid with Lois Lane, even though you saw them during their honeymoon. Yeah, Superman's awesome. And the creators of Superman are Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. An S tongue twister. And what if I were to tell you that they're not Christian? They're Jewish. C.S. Lewis, he put in a lot of Christian symbolism in his books. Did you know that Jerry and Joe put in Jewish symbolism into Superman? And many of you watch Star Wars. There's Jewish symbolism in that series as well. Amidala, it's handmade. The Sith comes from Set. In the passage in the Bible, it talks about the children of Set. And then, of course, the Jedi, Judah. And so, a person's religion definitely has an influence in their artistic works, whether it be books or movies based on the books that are completely different. And so, yes, Superman has evolved since Jerry and Joe, as we've learned that he can take a bullet to the eye, among other things. But his house name, his genealogy, the House of El. He's Kal El. Where do you think that would come from if you're a Jew creating Superman? Well, it comes from El for God, and Emmanuel, the name of God given by Isaiah, the House of El. The sun god, and thus the reason why Superman comes from outer space and gets his power from the sun. It's Emmanuel. He literally is a messianic figure to save mankind. And as such, he's subject to mortality when introduced to certain other kryptonite rocks or crystals. But for the most part, he's superhuman. Like William Wallace in Braveheart. Oh, right, that's an R-rated movie. You guys don't watch R-rated movies because you're idolatry good. But this was in... I'm not seeing it immediately on the screen. When they first started the comic books, think it was like the 1920s.
Oh, not the pudding, not the pudding.
Oh, Man of Steel, Superman. Let's see. Come on, dates, guys. Dates. That wasn't 1978. No. Is this the wrong link? It is the wrong link. Come on, guys. Let's try this link. There's like a billion different links for Superman. 1938. April 18th. That's the first appearance of Superman. And so what was going on in America at this time? The rise of the KKK, who supported Nazi Germany. They had taken over our Congress and refused to get involved in World War II to fight against the Germans because of, hey, they're our kind of people attitude. And it wasn't until the leader of the KKK got busted for raping his mistress that everybody turned on him. And Kal-El? It's not Kal-El? Okay. It could be my mission president. No, that's Creel. They named him Creel, which was interesting. Never known anybody to pattern their names after the House of L. Creel Coford became first member of the first presidency while as mission president while in my mission on New York. So he left in June, where I left in May of that year in '91, where they tried to cover up the temple endowment, no longer with the penalty oath. But you notice the phonetics. Kal-El, K, Clark Kent. These are Jews. The KKK hate the Jews. They don't want to be replaced by Jews. And so they replace the Jews. And so I'm hoping that with a certain wannabe rapper, I won't have to stop the video. But yeah, he originally came to save New York, which was, let's see, Gotham is Batman. What is it for Metropolis? From the KKK. And so it was always well-dressed men in suits who were the villains in the original TV series that was created. I haven't seen much of the comics back in those days, but it's similar to that style. And so that's what Superman was originally about, is saving New York from the KKK. As he has the phonetics of KKK to come out of to save mankind. A messiah figure of the learning of the Jews. So now put yourself in the mindset of your study of the Book of Mormon. And imagine, if you will, that it was written by the learning of the Jews rather than another testament of Christian Jesus. So when you see the name Jesus, you'd have to replace it with the Jewish Messiah or Christ. so that you can have an understanding of the learning of the Jews. Maybe I should do this as the 5 interpretations of the Book of Mormon to continue the series, since it ended after the 5. But we should do that. We're doing that. All right. So, how are we going to do the picture, though? Yes. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. And so, the church says it's all literal. That Moroni, because they refuse to study the Joseph Smith papers, the authoritative source for Mormons, all things about Joseph. So they continue to believe it's Moroni. But that the Book of Mormon is literal history. And as literal history, well, it seems to be a little racist. As the poor Lamanites, turn black because of their wickedness. And so blackness of skin is now equated with evil, bad. You're not thinking in terms of learning of the Jews. But we're not there yet. And then you have other problems with the various fields of science. It's got Sidney Rigdon as the major author, so on and so forth. And so the world sees the Book of Mormon as a fraud.
Here, I'll go get another one.
And
I just got back.
all right. And getting a little trafficked to make this video. Should have skipped dinner, I guess, to make the video. It was peaceful back then. Only the remains of the smoke remained. And so the world sees it as a fraud. But Joseph Smith was trying to be rich and lying to people, claiming it was an ancient document, and he translated it, and they know it's a fraud because of the plagiarism and the anti-science and anachronisms. I'm the guy with anachronisms, in case you didn't know. So those of you who are critics, you're like stressing out at the moment. I thought the church wasn't true. What's going on? Yes, there are anachronisms in the Book of Mormon. I'm the one who's introduced those into the realm of critic videos. But no other critic watches my channel, and so they don't know, and so they don't circulate what I do.
Is that screen your video?
So, let's review, since I got interrupted, with something I hope I remember to delete. I did the learning of the Jews first, which should have been third, but that's where they see the Book of Mormon as it says it is, learning of the Jews, manner of prophesying. And so they would see it as stories symbolically prophesying about a Messiah figure, just like their scriptures are. And the rest of the world, whether it's Christian or not, would see it as a fraud. That it's not Christian literature, it's not about Jesus, it's a fraud. It plagiarized, it is in violation of many fields of science, and anachronisms and grammar and all sorts of things and problems. Mormons, literal history. Because it's literal history, now you've got to deal with, okay, well, it seems like they're racist. It seems like they're bigoted. and some other fun stuff, because it's now being treated as literal history. But those who see it as such are the critics who are told by the missionaries that it's literal history, and they get concerned. So when I was in my mission in New York, we went to a single mother family. I gave her the Book of Mormon, said we'll come back in a week, see how you've done with the reading of the Book of Mormon, and go from there. Well, Mark and I, Elder Augustine and I, we're not allowed to use our first names. Except on Montauk Point, where I was playing basketball out of uniform. I can't believe I was that green. Yeah. But anyway, memories on the corner of my mind. And so we met the oldest daughter during the week. She was with her friends. I knew to stay away. Augustine, however, nope. Went right in to the group, humiliating her in front of her friends. And so she had a clever way of responding. When we asked her, had she read the Book of Mormon and what did she think of it? She said, the Spirit told me it's not true. And so, yeah, she remained cool in front of her friends. But, Augustine, Mark, thought he would be clever and ask her about Nephi and the Great White Lion. And so, yeah, she was baffled. She apparently didn't get to that part in the book. Nonetheless, such as C'est la vie. And so we then get to I guess it's the Superman. Well, I guess I did the other. So it's not actually witchcraft in this particular instance. Well, there is witchcraft in it. Angels speaking with people. So, yeah, witches. Witchcraft, Satanism. It talks about Satanism. Like the Church of Satan. So, yeah, there is some of that too. And we'll have to resurrect the old pictures that will be put over whatever I use as the main base. And then the real story. As in the beginning, 1 Nephi chapter 1 verse 2, learning of the Jews. He tells us how it's written in. It's not written in the learning of the Christians, learning of the Jews. And so, still got it up. Good. 2 Nephi chapter 25, verse 1. He now tells us that he is writing after his hero, Isaiah, which uses the manner of prophesying among the Jews. So, learning of the Jews, manner of prophesying among the Jews. That is what the Book of Mormon is written as. So, guess what that means, Mormons? It's not literal history. Because if it's literal history, it's not a prophecy. If it's a prophecy, it's not literal history. So it's not literal history. They're telling us that these stories are not true. They are prophecies. And so the previous video I did, I again reminded you, it starts in the latter days, 23rd September 2017, with the date given in Lehi's dream. But 2017, first year of the reign of King Zedekiah. And so it's a prophecy book about the latter days. And that's the frustrating thing of trying to get this word out to Mormons, is they don't believe. No, it's not true because it's not literal history. You have to say it's literal history, or we will not believe you. We will attack you. We will murder you. We will destroy you. Unless you conform and comply to our will. Oh, okay. I guess you've proven the church is true. Good job. You've used violence to enforce your beliefs. Oh, you've got priestcraft also with that? So you're enforcing priestcraft and your belief system with violence. Wonder if there's a passage in the Book of Mormon, in Alma chapter 1, that would go over such a comparable story as a prophecy about Mormons. Yay. And so, yeah, big difference. So now the Book of Mormon is a whole new book for you. Now you can read it under a new light. Now you can see Superman and the House of El is in the Book of Mormon. Learning of the Jews, manner of Christ. You're supposed to be using Joseph Smith's designation for who the Christ is of Mormons. And for that, I've gone over 1 billion times with you. He says it when Nephi appears to him. He talks to him on Earth, Wind, and Fire Day, September 21st, night of September. And then 22 is repeated. And 4's 2 times. But he is referred to the prophecy of Deuteronomy 15 through 18, which is the man like Moses, Superman, Emmanuel. And so referring to him in section 103, verse 16, therefore I will raise up unto my people a man who shall lead them like as Moses led the children of Israel with the Exodus. So a man like Moses, Exodus, Mormon. Ta-da! Because Mormons apparently are in bondage right now. Otherwise, Joseph Smith is a false prophet. Mormons have to say that they're in the Great and Abominable Church, or Joseph Smith is a false prophet. Which are you going to choose, Mormons? Got to choose one or the other. It's a trap. So, fun stuff when you see the Book of Mormon in different ways. Got to get the correct way, though, because otherwise you can see how far off base you get.